At City Headquarters Hospital, Nurse Patricia was known for her calm and welcoming smile. To many, she seemed like the perfect nurse, always ready to help pregnant women and soothe crying newborn babies. But behind the mask of kindness was a manipulative and evil woman with a secret mission. Patricia targeted vulnerable pregnant women, especially during their most delicate moments. Her goal is to steal the destinies of their innocent newborn babies. She worked with precision. The hospital trusted her, so she was often the one who baited newborn babies. It was during this time that she invoked her dark powers, channeling the children's bright futures into the evil necklace she wore around her neck. Unknowingly to the parents, their once promising children were left with empty lives. Families noticed over time that their children were stubborn, wayward, always falling sick, or failing miserably in school. They did not know the source of their suffering was Patricia. One of Patricia's victims was the family of Okafor. Their son, Junior, was born healthy and full of life. But as he grew, his behavior changed. By the time he turned 5, he was always sick, restless, and aggressive. His parents tried everything: prayers, medication, and even special schools, but Junior only got worse. Another victim was the Adeoye family. Their daughter, Titi, had been born as a brilliant and joyful child. However, she became withdrawn and could barely speak by the time she turned 7. Doctors call it developmental delay, but the Adeoyes felt something deeper was wrong. And also, there was the Uche family. Their twin boys, Shuka and Shinedu, were born strong and healthy. But soon after their first birthday, they fell sick and never fully recovered. The boys couldn't walk, talk, or play like other children their age. The Uche family was heartbroken, unaware that Nurse Patricia had stolen their son's bright future during their first birth at the hospital. Patricia's dark powers thrived on the pain of these families, and she grew bolder with each act of wickedness. Patricia wasn't working alone. She was a member of a powerful witchcraft cult led by Mother Uduak, an ancient and wicked woman. The coven thrived under stolen destinies, using them to strengthen their dark powers and fulfill their selfish desires. Every month, the coven gathered at a hidden shrine to deposit the stolen destinies into a burning pot. The destiny fed their powers, and they celebrated with dark rituals. Mother Uduak praised Patricia often. "You have a gift for this work," she would say with a cold smile. Patricia had become one of the coven's most trusted members. The necklace she wore was not only a tool for her evil deeds, but also a symbol of her loyalty to the coven. But Patricia's heart was filled with pain and bitterness, the very emotion that had driven her to join the coven in the first place. Patricia had not always been evil. Years ago, she was a kind-hearted and loving nurse who dreamed of starting a family with her husband, Manke. Manke was a taxi driver, and their love for each other was evident to anyone who knew them. They had been married for 3 years without a child, but Patricia never gave up hope. She sowed seeds of faith, encouraging pregnant women at the hospital to trust in God's timing. One day, her prayers were answered. Patricia became pregnant, and she and Manke were overjoyed. They made plans for their baby, decorating the nursery and imagining the future as a family. But their happiness was short-lived. Manke had a terrible accident while driving home from work. He was rushed to the hospital by passerbys, but the injuries were too severe. When Patricia arrived, she was told that her beloved husband had died. The shock of the news sent her into premature labor, and she was rushed into the emergency ward. Patricia delivered a baby, but the joy of motherhood was stolen from her due to Nurse Rosie's negligence. Patricia's baby did not survive. The pain of losing her husband and child in one day was too much to bear. She cried for days, refusing to eat or talk. Friends, families, and neighbors came to console her, but their words could not heal a broken heart. A woman named Agatha visited Patricia during this dark time. Agatha had once been a patient at the hospital, and Patricia had cared for her during her pregnancy. But Agatha had a secret. She was a member of a witchcraft cult. Seeing Patricia's vulnerability, Agatha whispered dark suggestions into her ear. "You don't have to let this pain consume you. There is a way to make things right." Desperate and blinded by grief, Patricia listened. Agatha took Patricia to a hidden forest one dark evening. There, Patricia met Mother Uduak, a frail yet terrifying woman with piercing eyes that seemed to look into a person's soul. The coven was gathered shouting around a glowing pot that emitted an eerie green light. Mother Uduak welcomed Patricia with open arms, her voice dripping with deceitful kindness. "Child, you have suffered greatly," she said, placing a bony hand on Patricia's shoulder. "We all came here with broken hearts, seeking revenge on those who wronged us. But we do not stay broken. We rise. You will rise too." Patricia, overwhelmed by grief and anger, agreed to join. Mother Uduak gave her a cursed necklace, telling her it would help her extract destinies from newborn babies. Patricia hesitated, but she remembered the pain Nurse Rosie's negligence had caused her. With bitterness cladding her judgment, she vowed to never feel powerless again. Patricia's first day as a full member of the coven was unforgettable. She returned to the hospital with her necklace hidden beneath her uniform. That evening, a young couple arrived to deliver their first child. Patricia assisted with the delivery, congratulating the parents with a warm smile. But as soon as she took the newborn to bathe, her appearance changed. Holding the baby in her arms, Patricia began shouting the incantations Mother Uduak had taught her. The room seemed to darken as the necklace glowed faintly. Patricia felt a surge of energy as she transferred the child's bright future into the cursed necklace. When she returned the baby to the mother, no one suspected anything. The couple was thrilled to hold their child, while Patricia walked away with a smug smile. She attended the coven meeting that night, dropping the stolen destiny into the glowing pot. Months later, the young couple noticed strange changes in their child. The baby, once full of life, became frail and often sick. Doctors could not explain the sudden change. As the child grew, he became restless, angry, and struggled to learn even the simplest things. The parents were heartbroken, blaming themselves for his condition. Little did they know that Nurse Patricia had stolen their son's destiny. While Patricia thrived, the coven's power protected her from suspicion, and the energy from the stolen destinies made her feel invisible. She began targeting more families, perfecting her art as the hospital's kind and trusted nurse. No one suspected the darkness lurking behind her gentle smile. But everything changed the day Ngozi arrived at City Headquarters Hospital, a devoted Christian and deaconess in her church. Ngozi had been trying to have a child for years. Doctors told her it was impossible, but she refused to give up. After years of prayer and fasting, God answered her prayers and she became pregnant. On the day of her delivery, she was rushed to the hospital in labor. As soon as she entered the labor ward, Ngozi felt a strange presence. The atmosphere felt heavy and an unexplained sense of dread washed over her. Sensing the spiritual battle ahead, she called her pastor's wife, Mrs. Evelyn, who immediately began to pray with her over the phone. Patricia, watching from the corner, smirked. "Let's see whose power is stronger," she thought to herself, determined to take Ngozi's child. Ngozi's labor was long and difficult, but after hours of pain, she delivered a healthy baby boy at 11 p.m. that night. Exhausted, she fell asleep shortly after holding her son for the first time. However, her rest was troubled. In her sleep, Ngozi had a strange dream. In the dream, she saw a woman dressed in white, smiling warmly at her and her baby. But suddenly, the woman's smile turned into an evil grin, and her face transformed into that of a wolf. The woman reached for the baby, and a struggle began. Ngozi woke up terrified, sweating and trembling. She quickly rushed for her baby but found the crib empty. Panicked, she screamed, "Where is my baby?" Nurses rushed in, trying to calm her down. One of them said, "Our senior nurse, Nurse Patricia, is bathing the baby," but Ngozi felt something was wrong. She quickly called Mrs. Evelyn and explained what was happening. "Pray," Mrs. Evelyn instructed. "We are coming immediately." In the bathing room, Patricia held Ngozi's baby, chanting her incantations. The evil necklace glowed faintly as she tried to steal the child's destiny. But something was different this time. A strange light surrounded the baby, blocking Patricia's effort. She grew frustrated, increasing her chants and invoking stronger spells. But the light only grew brighter, forcing her backward. As Ngozi prayed in her room, Mrs. Evelyn arrived at the hospital with her prayer team. The moment they stepped into the building, they felt the oppressive spiritual darkness. Mrs. Evelyn led them in prayer, declaring God's authority over the hospital. Patricia, still in the bathing room, felt the power of the prayers like a burning fire. In anger, she ran out of the room with the baby still in her arms, her face suddenly transforming into the wolf-like figure Ngozi had seen in her dream. Ngozi screamed when she saw Patricia's transformed face. The sight confirmed her dream had been real. Mrs. Evelyn stepped forward, unfazed, and began praying with authority. "You have no power here. In the name of Jesus, I command you to let go of this child." Patricia screamed, her voice distorted, but she could not move. The strange light that had surrounded the baby earlier now engulfed the entire room, forcing Patricia to drop the child. As Mrs. Evelyn continued praying, Patricia fell to the ground, screaming in pains. She began confessing her evil deeds, revealing how she had stolen the destinies of countless children. At the same moment, in the other realm, Mother Uduak and the rest of the coven felt their power weakening. The fire of Mrs. Evelyn's prayer reached their shrine, consuming the pot of stolen destinies. One by one, the coven members screamed as they were engulfed in flames and they all vanished. As the coven was destroyed, the destinies of the children were miraculously restored across the city. Families noticed sudden changes in their children. Junior, the boy who had been sick and aggressive, woke up feeling calm and happy for the first time in years. Simi, the withdrawn girl, began speaking fluently, much to her parents' amusement. The twin boys, Shuka and Shinedu, suddenly started walking and playing, their heads fully restored. Back at the hospital, Patricia wept bitterly as she confessed everything to Ngozi, Mrs. Evelyn, and the other nurses. She explained how grief had led her down the dark path and how Mother Uduak had manipulated her vulnerability. Mrs. Evelyn, filled with compassion, prayed for Patricia, asking God to forgive and deliver her. Patricia felt a heavy burden lift from her heart, and for the first time in years, she felt free. After Patricia's confession, the hospital staff were left in shock. Many could not believe that the kind nurse they trusted had caused so much harm. Ngozi, holding her baby tightly, thanked God for exposing Patricia's evil deeds. Mrs. Evelyn assured the staff that Patricia's action had been under the influence of dark forces, but now that she had repented, she could start a new life. The news of Patricia's confession spread throughout the city. Families who had suffered unknowingly began sharing stories of how their children's lives had changed overnight, and they were all overwhelmed with joy as they saw their children thriving. The city hospital introduced stricter monitoring to ensure such evil could never happen again. Patricia, though forgiven, voluntarily resigned from her job to focus on rebuilding her life. The destruction of the coven marked as a turning point in the city. The spiritual battles that had plagued many families ceased, and the hospital became a place of healing and restoration once more. Patricia, though scarred by her past, became a living testament to the power of forgiveness and redemption. In the end, light triumphed over darkness, proving that no matter how deep someone falls, they can rise again with love, prayer, and faith. The end. Thank you guys for watching this story, and if you've watched to this point and you are yet to subscribe, please hit the subscribe button to join this amazing family. Like this video, and also don't forget to share with your friends and family. Thank you.